I really never thought or envisioned myself moving back to Phoenix after I was done playing, but I missed my family. I'd been gone for almost 10 years at that point. My dad said, well, you can come work for me. And I said, okay, well, I guess I'll do some marketing.
At 3A Automotive, all work is performed by professional, certified technicians.
Call on our family. 3A Automotive Service.
I had a pretty cushy job working for him. I was doing the marketing, so, I came in at 8, we opened at 7. But I realized that in order for me, if I was going to do, anything with the business and really help my dad, that I was gonna have to step up the responsibility. Part of what he told me when he basically offered me to be the manager of the shop was that if you're gonna manage the shop and you're gonna take over for me, you need to go and learn what I've learned. What I found out was that a couple years before I moved home, he had gotten some help with a consulting company. He was managing by statistics, and he had a lot more control, he had a lot more freedom than before I could remember. I started studying the Hubbard Management System, and in 1 week, I felt like I learned more how to market a small business than I had learned in 4 years of college. Then I was asked to be in a wedding with one of my best friends growing up. And I was told about this girl, Nadine, his future wife's best friend. I saw a picture of her, just a beautiful girl. And I didn't know anything about her until we were lined up to walk out together.
I remember when we went to walk down the aisle together and he put his arm out. I just remember thinking he was like sweet, kind of a big, very in shape guy.
We hung out the whole wedding together. It was just love at first sight.
Pretty much from the first day that we met, we've just been together ever since.
I was really excited about being married. I was excited about the shop, but it really wasn't my purpose. I was trying to figure out how I could play a bigger game in life. Along that line, I started getting some anxiety. It had gotten so bad where I literally thought that I was having a heart attack or something. And I went to the emergency room and we did all these tests, and the doctor just looked at me and kind of chuckled, and he just said, "You just had a panic attack." A couple weeks later, the same thing happened again, and it started getting worse. I went to all kinds of doctors. Everybody said, "You're a model of health, there's nothing wrong with you, it's in your head." I was invited to a lecture that was about human emotion. And that was where they introduced the idea of Dianetics, the modern science of mental health. I found out that I could actually do something called auditing that could help me address the actual things that were causing my anxiety. I was just blown away. Here I was for just about a year of people telling me that there was nothing wrong with me and that there was nothing I could do but take these drugs to handle this anxiety. And now I knew it was a mental thing and I could handle it and I could be in control over it. It saved me. I was present and there and focused and had energy and excitement about the business to motivate my team and take things to the next level.
Let's go, let's hit it.
Things really started to pick up, and then came the 2008 recession.
In-depth coverage now on the growing financial crisis, sending shockwaves through Wall Street.
Things got hit hard, like everybody did. And so I went back to my books and I started studying, what do you do in a crashed economy? What do you do when you need more work? I knew that that basic rule of outflow is going to equal inflow. The problem was we didn't have money to pay for marketing. And so we had to get really creative. We bought the software to design and create our own marketing pieces. We leased a printer. That was a turning point in dealing with the recession for us, because if we weren't seeing more cars, I sent more promotion, and we had direct control of that. Nobody ever went without a paycheck. And we slowly started building the business back up. One of the things that we found is that the more we invest in training with our staff, the better that they do. So what we've done to make that easier is we put together what we call hat packs. So it's basically their job description, all the policies and procedures that go along with their job, and then we get them trained on those duties to make sure that they're super competent in what they do.
So this car's a 2010 Buick LaCrosse. It's got a check engine light for fuel injectors and catalytic converters. The injectors, they inject your gasoline or your fuel into your car so your engine runs. The catalytic converters, what they do is they convert the bad exhaust fumes from the engine. Everything that it burns, it converts it to be safer for the environment. We're replacing the fuel injectors because the only possibility that can mess up the catalytic converters would be the injectors. So this is the new injector that we're going to replace on this car. And then once we're done with that, putting it all back together, we're going to erase the check engine light that it has, take it on a test drive, and we're going to make sure that this car runs like a brand new car.
I was approached about advertising in a local newspaper. I said I would love to advertise. Would they be interested in me doing any sort of article about car care? So while I was writing these different articles, I had found out that most women felt that mechanics talked down to them and they did not feel comfortable going into an auto repair shop. And so what I thought I would do is write a book that would educate on how to talk to an auto repair shop, what questions to ask. So what's the difference between diesel and gas? Both of these vehicles have an internal combustion engine, which means that the fuel burns inside of the engine. But the biggest difference between a diesel engine and a gas engine is simply this: the spark plug. On a diesel engine, the fuel is ignited by the pressure inside the engine. There's no spark plugs in a diesel. But in a gas engine, it needs a spark to ignite the fuel. So what you have is an electric current that goes inside through the spark plug, and that creates a spark here at the tip of the spark plug. And that's the biggest difference between how diesel engines run and how gas engines run. I got some really good feedback, and I think somebody sent it to one of the local radio stations who interviewed me about the book, and we had quite a few downloads. Later that year, there was a story about my dad and I, and just about how we built the business. We were also nominated and won an award because we had so many reviews online. We were actually one of the first auto repair shops in the country to have over 100 Google reviews. That was really like a finite moment from where we had come, as a family business. And shortly after that time, I decided that it was time for me to take more responsibility and really just buy the business from my family.